Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. There's another paid request, this time from Psycho Hobo. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, topics, reactions, commentaries, reviews, re-reviews, whatever, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box under any of these videos. And like I said, I apologize for this series of videos if I sound a bit weird. They got right over here, like little cut on the tongue. I don't know how it happened, but it is what it is. Great, it just put down the wrong pipe. Sure, not just a cut tongue. How about I just drown myself? Sorry about that, Psycho Hobo. But we're talking about Love from 2011. Which I liked. I actually liked this film. So probably no one's going to see this video. Because I've noticed that if I like a film, people are like, fuck it, we're not going to see the video if he likes the film. Now, this would be a very divisive film. And I just see a lot of people not liking this. It is a 5.4 on IMDb. I don't think it's nearly that bad, but I just see people feeling the movie was boring and pretentious and dull and reminds you of better films, whether it be 2001, 2001: A Space Odyssey, the Duncan Jones film Moon. And yeah, I just say Moon with Sam Rockwell is a better movie than this. I just say that 2001: A Space Odyssey is a better movie than this, or Ad Astra with Brad Pitt, which I really enjoyed. I'll put that above this. But for a film that cost $500,000 to make, for a film that was a very simple enough story to me, and its simplicity was kind of refreshing, especially with a lot of the films I've seen recently. It was also cool because it stars, well, actually he's not in this game, but the voice of Isaac Clarke in the Dead Space games, well, not in the first one, but in Dead Space 2 and 3, Gunnar Wright. Gunnar Wright, the voice actor of Dead Space 2 and 3's lead character Isaac Clarke, is the star of this movie. And when I hear his voice, I'm like, yep, that's Isaac Clarke. So that was kind of cool. It was cool to, because I don't think I've seen him in a live-action, film. It is pretty damn good. I liked his performance. Now, you have this build-up where we have this opening in the Civil War era, and there's this one guy that seems like he goes from regiment to regiment, and there's a battle ready to take place, but we don't send you off, we don't want you to die here, there's some kind of object that people are looking for, we need someone to go find it and see it. When the guy does find and see it, it cuts away, and we'll know more about that much later. Most of the film takes place in 2039. Gunnar Wright, or Isaac Clarke, he is a one-man crew, and his job is to get this abandoned station, space station, to see if we can get it working, and see if it's safe to use, all that stuff. So we see him in his daily routine, getting these data packages, messages via video, and once in a while there's this weird interference transmission type of thing going on, but we see his daily routine. Fixing stuff, working out, things of that nature. Well, one day, loses contact with Houston. Loses contact with Earth. And you can kind of figure what happens. There's one shot where you see the Earth, and it looks like little explosions, and then the lights go out. And again, I think for a $500,000 budget, it's a pretty good looking movie. With the scenes outside, no, they're not up there with 2001, which for its time had a big budget, or Ad Astra and other stuff, but again, for its budget, I thought the way the costumes and the way this ship inside, the production design, I thought it was rather effective for its low budget. I thought it was pretty good looking for its low budget. I've seen films today that have tripled the budget that look a lot worse. And this is where I think a lot of people will get tired or bored, because it's really a slow story of this guy trying to maintain, trying to figure out what to do next, and trying to stay sane as he's slowly losing it. His daily business, what's he to do? Once in a while you get these little messages, like these little video messages of people talking about, for example, if you don't interact, your reality is pretty warped, or never give up, you never know what's going to happen next. You may think it's all for naught, you may think it's all for nothing, but just never give up, because something could surprise you. Strive for something better. I don't know, maybe the way of the world today, as blunt as maybe this stuff is, it was kind of still refreshing to hear it, since a lot of times this kind of stuff is seen as old hat. But, you know, to me, still prevalent, or at least it should be prevalent. And it's just him trying to deal. And in a way, this is kind of the type of film I've been wanting for a while. While I do wish it had the budget to have a bit more finesse on some of the visuals, the direction is fine. I wouldn't say it's like, if you got like a really Stanley Kubrick type of director has a great eye for that. I think the finale could have helped with a bit more of a visual punch and bigger budget. But I don't know, that idea of being alone in space and how you maintain day to day, for some reason it was always an idea that appealed to me. I don't know why. Maybe because isolation stories intrigue me, where what does a person do when all they have is themselves to entertain. And so whether it be The Shining with Stanley Kubrick, or whether it be other films where, you know, how do you maintain? What do you do on a daily basis? And you can really delve into psychosis and the psychology of a person, and or the breakdown or the overcome of it. And it being in space, which is much more of a dire circumstance, because there really is nowhere to go. And it's such, to me, the most dangerous place you can be, because you have this endless amount of space and vacuum that could be a quick death trap, will be a quick death trap if any number of things go wrong. And I don't know if maybe if you had more hiccups happen where maybe it would keep people excited, but then that kind of would become like Apollo 13, The Martian type of stuff, which I like those movies as well. It was kind of, I don't know, it was kind of refreshing and simplistic to see how this guy's dealing day to day. And, you know, he imagines being back home, he imagines being with a woman. Nothing sex, no explicit sex stuff, but he imagines that. He imagines, you know, playing with someone with cards, but then he's imagining himself, and this, you see this dwindling down of sanity because of that. As he's you know, he loses his videos, like of his brother, let him know that he's now an uncle. And you did a really nice score The band's called Love and Airwaves. I thought the score fit the film to a T. And, Isaac Clarke has to reroute the power, or he's reading this journal, which, of that Civil War thing. Which just made me wonder how the fuck that got there, and let it go to a lot of interpretations with what's going on. Which I'm sure that there's a lot of things that could annoy people with the film. Again, its pacing, pretentiousness, but I don't know, just the setting, lighting done right, the novelty of Isaac Clarke from Dead Space being this and hearing his voice. I think he gives a good performance. For his budget, I like the visuals, I like the music, I like, again, just sort of being in the moment with this individual, what this person's going through, how is this person going to maintain, and it's the little things of what do you do if you're in this one container, this one big old bubble in the sky. What do you do to entertain yourself? So like, there's a point where he gets the treadmill and he ratchets something up to go on like a little ride to take the monotony off. Stuff like that. I don't know why. For some reason, it appeals to me. I just, in a weird way, being a fan of space, being a fan of the opportunities of space, and one of those things of like, what the fuck would happen if I was in that situation? I don't know why that appeals to me so much. Not that I want to be in that situation. No, I would not at all. But it's one of those like, man, for some reason it leaves me a bit to think about. So, like I said, I didn't mind the pacing of the story. I wasn't bored at all. It's not too long of a film. It's an hour and 20 some minutes, I believe. Like I said, when visuals and music and a lead actor I like, you get that combination. It's easy for me to watch a film that not a lot of stuff happens. Like I said, I think a lot of people would be bored with. I would say I like this a lot more than, what was that film? Approaching the Unknown. Like, kind of what I wanted in that film is what I got in this. And I like that they didn't try to add bullshit of, oh, he has this crazy backstory and this troubled history. No, it's just he's a guy doing his job. He's in the situation. There's no haunting backstory to when he was a kid and all this stuff. Like I said, that made a bit refreshing as well. There are people that go through that, but there's also people that just here to do their job, and you could feel, at least I could feel the isolation and really felt sympathy for this lead character. So now, to get into heavy spoilers, there's a point he's ready to kill himself, but then he can't do it. He goes back in. Even more time has passed. You tell he's got a beard now. He's even put like little tattoos on his body. And now this message that he's docking with something. And there's this big ship out there. And this is trying to be absolutely 2001 A Space Odyssey. Where he goes in. Now again, they don't have the budget to really make it that wondrous. So it's like, here's a room, and here's another room, and here's another room, and it seems very familiar. Here's a picture of a rocket going to the sky. I do wish they had the budget to have these, the sets, these look that much more awe-inspiring. Just when you're building up to something, people want a big payoff. Pretty much, it results in being in this room and the journal he was reading of the Civil War, this is the end of it. And, oh, well, the guy found a ship. And it's a ship that, throughout the years, other people studied it, and it helped human and mankind rise up in terms of technology. And that maybe because of what happened on Earth, maybe the ship left or the ship did something else and took all this time to find our lead character. I mean, there's literally a book called The Collection of Memories of the Human Condition Told by You. And what the movie is saying is that what's important in our lives is the connection with other human beings, whether it be love or whatever the case. Memories of stories, how important stories are, how important to not be forgotten, to feel like you belong, that type of connection, so that our lead character is put into this collective conscious, so that he's not alone. And there's even a voice that says, I hate to tell you, man, but there's nobody left on Earth. You're alone. But we're glad we found you. I just, with the ending, I do wish there was a bit more. Either try to be less like 2001: Space Odyssey and try to be a bit more your own movie at the very end, or this might seem silly, but part of me would have preferred an actual alien creature or something that I did what it was doing. I did the idea of what it was doing, but maybe like some type of, I don't know how to word it. Because you don't see anything. Maybe they thought if you saw something, it would be looked at too corny, too cheesy, however you want to put it. Because even then, I can't say I understand it 100%. Which I did. There's a lot of things that will throw people off on the film. That's why I don't recommend stuff. I just say what I felt about and give my honest opinion. But you just still get a sense of the characters in a good place and a happy place. Still better ending to me than AI. But I guess in a way it is kind of the ending of AI now that I think about it. But I don't know, I just like the way it was done in here better. I guess it kind of is though. But I don't know. For some reason I like the way it was done here better. But even then, it's still. It ends up with him being in this room with all these things that look like the galaxy and stars, and then someone comes at him, but then it's like all the collective memories of. Maybe throughout the years, the governments looked into the ship and people sharing their stories, which are some of the stories we see interspersed throughout the film. But then at the same time, is it the people's souls in there? Is it just we download your conscious into this, so it's them, but it's not really them? Is this whole thing an AI left from long ago? Is this an actual alien consciousness that's still there residing in this? It leaves some questions. I just, I have little issues here and there with that. Like I said, I don't know if it was lack of budget or a guy trying to be Stanley Kubrick and not quite pulling it off, this director and writer, but I would say at the end of the day, I still did enjoy the film. I still liked it. I still appreciate what it was trying to do. I think a lot of people feel it's a bit hammered it home, non-subtle and pretentious. Oh, it just somehow spoke to me. In a way I would say it just spoke to me. And I don't know, just with the way things are nowadays, with the way the world is nowadays, there's a little bit of uplifting piece to the ending that I appreciated. And that with Jenna Wright's performance and the simplicity of the story, and really feeling sympathy with the isolation that the character was going through, and not trying to put too many. Just that could be a problem, trying to put too many drama pieces in it. So if I don't want to say it feels less like a movie, but just feels sometimes when you try to put too much of that, it feels a bit forced. So Love, I thought, was a nice little sci-fi film that I did like and appreciate, and like I said, liked it more than Approaching the Unknown. And I didn't, despite some little hiccups here and there, the ending, I wish there was a bit more to it. I really do, to really swing for the fences on that, but it's ambitious, the for its budget, and I think its heart is in the right place. And I appreciate that as well. So that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later.